Hi, I'm Sue Resnick and I have a new recipe for you today. I've been wanting something like this for a long time and I wish I'd had it when I was doing Gerson because I think it would have made some of the meals more pleasant to be able to have a little mayonnaise. Something that I could spread, make a potato salad or a coleslaw or I don't know, whatever else you want to have creamy. Even on the tortillas that I make, sometimes I would use the tortilla recipe as a bread, and I could have spread a little bit of that on there to make a mayonnaise dressing. But you're not going to believe how easy this is. It's 4 ingredients, 5 if you include water. And I'm going to give you the Gerson way of making it first, and then I'm going to tell you how you can add more to it if you're somebody who doesn't have to follow the Gerson therapy, so you don't have those tight parameters. You can add a little bit more and just give it a little bit more flavor. But either way, it's good. I'm glad to be able to add the extra stuff in it now, but when I was doing Gerson, I would have been thrilled to have this to be able to make my meals just a little more palatable. So this is how we're going to start. We're going to start with a cup of potato. Are you surprised? I use potatoes for like everything. But I searched the internet to try and find a no-fat mayonnaise. And they make ones with beans, and I didn't like the flavor and I didn't like the texture. And they make ones with nuts, which of course is really high fat, and I didn't want that. So I put on my thinking cap one day, and I have to credit God. I think he shows me these things because he knows it's going to help you. And when I get good and frustrated, he's like, okay, now I'll give you an answer. So one day it was like, try a potato. So that's what I did. So this is probably 1 potato. Yeah, it's about 1 leftover boiled potato. I peeled it after I took it out of the fridge. I boiled it yesterday. I've peeled it now. I've just chunked it up, and I'm putting it in my little blender. I gotta tell you, I've tried doing it in my big blender, and it's hard to get the puree nice because it's such a small amount. If you only have a larger blender, you might want to double the recipe so you have enough stuff in there to keep it moving, okay? Otherwise, you have to keep poking it down. So we've got our cup of potato, and I've got a 1/2 cup of water. I'm going to start with most of it. I guess I'm just going to leave a couple tablespoons back. I just don't know how pureed it's going to get. So I'm going a little easy. You would do the same because you just don't know. You don't want it to end up sloppy. So that, I'm going to get a little sprinkle of onion powder. That looks good. And I'm going to put in 1 teaspoon of vinegar. It's not very much, but you'd be surprised at how much you can taste it. Just because there's so few ingredients, each one stands out. And I'm putting in 2 teaspoons of maple syrup. That's it. Can you believe it? That's easy. 1 teaspoon vinegar, 2 teaspoons of maple syrup, and a shake of onion powder. Couple shakes. Cup of potato, and just not quite a 1/2 cup of water. We'll see if we need the rest of it. And then we'll give this a buzz. Well, I think we needed the rest of that water. It seems a little stiff. Just a little. I think I want a little more water. Hang on. I think it needed about 2 more tablespoons. So I'm going to put a little bit more in my cup just so I can keep track of how much I'm really using. Every batch is just a little different. You have to work with it. And I have to tell you, one of the challenges of cooking for you guys is coming up with amounts because I don't use measurements when I cook on my own. Most of my salad dressings come out way better when I don't measure them. And then it takes me a long time to figure out a recipe for you guys because I have to figure out what my measurements were. All right, here we go. Maybe. Boy, that's pretty thick, isn't it? Well, let me check the texture. That's the way to know. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's thick, but it's very soft. So it'd be just like mayonnaise there. See? So that's actually really good. That's a really good texture. We're going to taste. You know, it's just a little sweet and a little tangy. Doesn't have a whole lot going on, which is okay. That's what mayonnaise is. Mayonnaise isn't meant to be a salad dressing. Now, if you want a little more flavor, I've got my butter blend. I'm going to put a little sprinkle of that butter blend in there. How much? I don't know if that was even a 1/4 teaspoon. Might be a little less. And we'll put that in. Now, you can still do this. This is still Gerson. You can tell it's not getting all the way to the bottom. Probably would have to stir that up a little bit. Let's see how it tastes where we put the seasonings in. That's good. That gave it just a little more flavor. Okay, now there's your Gerson mayonnaise. If you're not a Gerson person, here's what else you can do. Add a teaspoon of mustard. That's going to make it taste more like regular mayonnaise, okay? I'm going to give it a squirt. And don't use Dijon mustard. It's too spicy. It's too hot. You'll be surprised. And you could also add a little celery seed if you like. You could add a little salt and pepper. Remember, not Gerson. Little salt and pepper. And here's a little trick I want to show you people, you know, for folks who are still doing salt and pepper, or I do salt and pepper if I'm serving guests because they can't go, you know, cold turkey on my food. They're too used to having salt and pepper. But what I do, this is a container. You can see how it's like dark and light? That's because it's equal parts pepper and salt. And most recipes will use twice as much salt to pepper. I use equal portions because that way I get less salt and more pepper. But it's all done at once and I don't have to grab out 2 shakers to do it. And I know I'm going to have a good proportion. So I will just add a little, you know, shake like this of salt and pepper. Like for Chris, you know, I still put a little salt and pepper in his food on occasion. Depends what it is. Some things are just a little too plain for him still. So that's okay. You know, I honor that. He can have a little salt and pepper. But I am going to put a sprinkle of celery seed in. Just a little. And I put that squirt of mustard in there. That teaspoon of mustard. I'm just going to hand mix it. There you go. I don't need to put it on the machine for this. It's already pureed. There we go. Now, if you want it tangier to be more like a salad dressing, you could put a little more everything in there. A little more onion powder, a little more vinegar, a little more maple syrup. And boy, that tastes good. And you can taste the mustard. The first time I made this, I never got to use it as a mayonnaise. I just ate the whole container. Because it's potatoes. It's just potatoes with stuff on it. So, oh well. So there's a recipe. There's a mayonnaise for you that I hope that you'll enjoy. You'll find out how well it works. I probably shouldn't have put that little extra water in there. I was thinking I had to put it on the base because it made it a little bit soft. I don't know. You know what? This will work fine. This will work fine on a potato salad. If I was going to put it on bread, I would have wanted it firmer a couple tablespoons ago. So I have yet to figure out how to put the recipe on the screen the way we used to, because I'm using different software now and I don't know how to do it. It just doesn't, I don't know if it's an option. I'll put it, oh, I'm going to sneeze. It's the, it's the, oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. My goodness, that was from sniffing the pepper. All right, I gotta go. I'll put the recipe down below and then you can see it there. Have a good day.